I'm Robert Cardoza, and you're watching On the Street. This is the intersection of business and politics. This is where we just tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. And you need to have the truth in order to make decisions about your personal life and your business. We just throw everything in that big funnel, see what comes out, analyze it, and just tell you the way it really is. It's all black and white. There's no secret stuff going on in there. But you know what? You're only going to get that right here on the street. Everybody else just seems to have their own opinions based on their political affiliation. You know what? I don't care. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, an independent, a Tea Party person, a Purple People leader. The truth is the truth. And that's what we're going to deal with here. Now, coming up, we're going to have a guest. His name is Oscar Gonzalez. He's created a brand new company, and it's called OC Web. And OC Web creates web pages. Now, if you're an entrepreneur or you're thinking about going into business for yourself, or you're already in business for yourself, and you don't have a good quality website, you need to be listening to that segment because they're going to tell you exactly how easy it is to get a custom website that's affordable with support. We'll deal with that a little bit later. After that, we'll talk about the good news and the bad news, and we'll have emails, my favorite part of the section of the show. I want to remind everybody you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+. You can go right to YouTube and just search On the Street, Robert Cardoza. Everything is going to be right there for you. Now let's talk about new legislation. You know, with this Band-Aid that they put on the kick in the can down the road for the fiscal cliff, they actually extended some things. Some of it was surprising, some of it wasn't. I guess it depended on how powerful the lobby is that you have. They don't extend things on a permanent basis, but they did extend manufacturing credits. That's a good thing. They extended research and development credits. That's a good thing. They extended farm subsidies. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It does keep us competitive, but we're paying farmers not to grow cotton and not to grow soybeans and to keep prices stable. I'm not so sure that that's such a good idea. They've also created credits if you are manufacturing or buying an electric motorcycle. Or if you're getting wind power, there is credits for investing in wind power. There's all of those things that the government is allowing right now. The other thing they're going to do in new legislation is they're absolutely going to pass means testing for Social Security and Medicare. What does that mean? You know what? Means testing just simply says, do you make so much money that you don't need these kind of entitlements? And remember what we said, if it's an entitlement, it's something that's yours. The reason you're entitled to it is you paid for it. The money came out of your pocket. Let me give you an example. If you were working for wages, or even if you were self-employed and you were paying into Social Security, you did not get a tax deduction for the amount of money that was taken out for Social Security or Medicare. You didn't get a tax deduction. Now, when you do retire, if you earn over a specified amount of money, you're going to get taxed on that Social Security. Yeah, you've already paid the tax the first time, and now they're going to tax you again. So regardless of what tax rate you're in, that's really not such a good deal, but you're going to get taxed again. So that's really what's going on. So when they talk about means testing, there really is an example. They're talking about Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and Mitch Romney and even President Obama. Well, probably not him. He's not subject to Social Security anyway. You know, everybody in Washington, D.C. has their own special retirement that all the stuff they're doing to you and me doesn't affect them. But means testing means that, you know what, if you made $20 million last year, if you made $1 million every year, if you're getting these from investments and things that you have, the truth is you probably do not need Social Security. It probably is just not even a bump in your lifestyle. And so they're saying, well, if we can save you, those people that are getting Social Security and Medicare that aren't going to use it, and put it back into the barrel, that extends the life of Social Security for those people that rely on it for their livelihood through retirement. I'm not so sure that I'm opposed to that. I think that might be a sacrifice that the very wealthy people can do. And you got to understand the difference between rich and wealthy. You're rich if you earn more than $250,000 a year. That's the standard for the United States. If you earn more than $250,000 a year, you're rich. Now, wealthy has nothing to do with what your income is. Wealthy has to do with what your assets are. Now, assets, in the case of a Mitt Romney, it's all the houses and all the cars and all the investments and things that he has. And he has those, and he lives on just a portion of what they produce. That's wealth. He doesn't work for wages. And that's the difference. He sits on a number of boards. He gets stipends for that. That's wages. And those things are going to be subject to all those other taxes. But when you talk about means testing, I think it's probably a good thing. There are a lot of people out there that don't need that up to $30,000 a year of Social Security in the Medicare that they're going to be usurping. Because if they're making that much money, they're buying their own health programs. They have their own retirement taken care of. And the Social Security and the rest of it, just a bump in the road. It's not something they absolutely need to have. And if Congress would use the money judiciously and help the people that really need it, then I think those wealthy people would be happy to have means testing and let those things go out. I want to remind you that you can contact us or keep track of us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+. Go right to YouTube and just do a search for On the Street, Robert Cardoza. You can pick up all the segments of On the Street. It's a good way for you to go back and review some of the things that you may have missed. Coming up next, we're going to have an interview with my good friend Oscar Gonzalez. We're going to talk about OC Web. It's a website production company that is going to make your business look tremendous. Remember, business, a lot of it is all about facade. How do you look? How does the little guy compete with the big guy? That's part of what websites do. That's part of what social networking does. And you know what? That's what OC Web does. They've got this new program with a lot of different platforms that you can get involved in and you can add on later on down the road. That's coming up. You don't want to miss that. Also coming up is the good news and the bad news. We're going to talk about the White House. We're going to talk about the war in Afghanistan. We're going to talk about the debt. We're going to talk about the deficit, all of those things. And right after that, we're going to be talking about emails. I can't wait to see what's going on with the emails. I never do know until just before we get on the air. So I want to remind everybody that you're watching On the Street. This is the intersection of business and politics. This is where we take all of that data that you're being bombarded with and we put it into this great big funnel and see what comes out at the bottom. And what comes out of the bottom that's filtered is the truth about what's going on today that affects your personal life and your business. You don't want to miss that. You're only going to get that here on the street. I'm Robert Cardoza.